The planet Solarian 4 glimmered under two suns. Its sky was a swirl of orange and violet, and its towering crystal spires reflected the light like thousands of tiny mirrors. The city of Valera, capital of the Velkari Dominion, rose with sharp edges and curved walls, filled with aliens whose forms were elegant, thin, and perfectly symmetrical. To an outsider, it looked like a world built for perfection. Human Ambassador Ethan Hale stood at the edge of the Academy courtyard, his eyes scanning the crowd of young Velkari students. He had been sent to observe the new generation, the future leaders and scientists of the alien race. He had spent months learning about the Velkari, studying their language, their customs, and their strange fascination with symmetry. Yet nothing prepared him for the sight he was about to witness. In the middle of the courtyard, a young Velkari girl stood awkwardly. Her name was Lyra, and she was unlike the others. She was larger, softer, her movements slower and heavier than her peers. Her cheeks had a gentle roundness that the others did not have, and her eyes, though bright and intelligent, seemed to shrink under the weight of invisible judgment. A boy, slightly older, with sharp, angular features and eyes that gleamed with cruelty, stepped forward. His name was Torin. He smiled, a cruel twist of lips, and pointed at Lyra. "Look at you," he sneered. "You are half-formed. You will never be like us. You are weak." The other students laughed. Some giggled nervously, others openly mocked her. Lyra tried to hide behind her hands, her small shoulders trembling. The human ambassador watched silently, frowning. He did not understand all the words, but he understood the meaning and he understood the pain. Ethan stepped closer, keeping his distance to avoid drawing attention. He noticed something unusual, faint glowing lines beneath Lyra's translucent skin. They pulsed irregularly, almost like lightning under her surface. He could not tell what it was yet, but he knew it was something no one else seemed to notice. After the mockery ended, the students were called into the lecture halls, leaving the courtyard quiet. Lyra remained behind, crouched by the edge of a fountain. Ethan approached her gently. "You are not weak," he said quietly, his voice careful not to alarm her. "I think I can help you." Lyra looked up at him, confusion in her eyes. "Help me? How?" "They say I'm broken." Her voice was small, almost a whisper, but it carried a hint of hope. Ethan shook his head. "No, you are not broken. You are different. And that difference is important. Can you come with me?" She hesitated, glancing back at the academy. Her father, a high-ranking Velkari noble, stood far away, talking to other officials. He did not intervene, his face calm but cold. Lyra swallowed and nodded. She followed Ethan to a quiet area near the shuttle docks, where the hum of engines blended with the soft wind. Ethan set up a small portable scanner he carried with him. The device glowed with soft blue light as he scanned her body. Lyra flinched at the touch, but Ethan's hands were steady. "This will not hurt," he assured her. "I just want to see why your body is different." The scanner displayed intricate patterns of energy beneath her skin, patterns that human science recognized as a form of biological adaptation. Ethan's mind raced. He had studied human genetics, alien biology, and the effects of radiation on living cells. He had never seen anything like this. "Your body, it is adapting," he explained. "Not by mistake, not by flaw. It is changing to survive the radiation in this environment. Those lines I saw, they are your cells strengthening themselves, building a shield. You are evolving." Lyra's eyes widened. "Evolving, but I am different. They laugh at me. They say I will never be strong." She looked down, frowning. "If I am evolving, why am I alone?" "You are not alone," Ethan said firmly. "You are the first they have noticed, maybe the first ever. But others will come. Others like you will appear. They will understand your strength soon." Lyra studied him, her small hands trembling. You really see it?" "They do not," Ethan nodded. "I see it, and I will help you. But you must be careful. If the others find out, they might fear you. Fear can make people cruel." The girl stayed silent for a moment, then asked softly, "Do you think my father will ever understand?" Ethan shook his head slowly. "I cannot say, but right now it does not matter. What matters is you, your life, your future, and right now you are stronger than anyone knows, even if they do not see it." For the rest of the day, Ethan stayed close, taking notes, scanning and analyzing her body. Lyra's movements became easier. Her breathing steadied and her eyes shone with a quiet determination. She had been called weak all her life, laughed at and mocked. But here, with the human who believed in her, she felt something new. Hope. As night fell, the two returned to the academy grounds under the cover of darkness. Ethan had to report back to his superiors, but he promised Lyra he would return. "We will figure this out," he said. "Together. No one else needs to judge you." Lyra nodded, feeling a warmth she had not felt in years. It was the warmth of being seen, not as a mistake, not as a joke, but as someone important. Someone who could matter. Meanwhile, in the council chambers, Toran bragged to his friends about his morning mockery. "The human saw nothing," he said, smirking. "She is weak and nothing will change that. Even their strange human eyes cannot see what is plain." But unbeknownst to him, Ethan had already begun analyzing the Velkari radiation patterns and the cellular responses in Lyra's body. He spent the night cross-referencing human immune responses, alien biology texts, and radiation studies. Slowly, the picture became clear. Lyra's body was not failing. It was building a natural shield, a biological armor that no other Velkari had yet developed. By dawn, Ethan's mind raced with possibilities. This was not just a personal matter. It was a revelation. Lyra's adaptation could change the way Velkari biology was understood. Her weakness might be the future of her species, a way to survive harsher conditions, to endure what the others could not. Ethan thought of the Velkari leaders who would laugh at this idea, dismiss it as impossible. He thought of Toran, proud and cruel, unaware that the girl he mocked could one day surpass him in every way that mattered. And he thought of Lyra herself, her small hands, her quiet voice, her brave eyes. She was not broken. She was the first spark of something new, and if he had to fight to make her world see it, he would. As the twin suns rose over Solarian 4, Ethan knew the coming days would be difficult. He would have to balance diplomacy with action, secrecy with honesty, and protect Lyra from those who feared what they did not understand. But he did not hesitate. He had seen the truth. He had seen her strength, and he would not let it go unnoticed. For Lyra, this was the first day she felt that she might matter, that she might survive, that she might even thrive in a world that had called her weak. And for Ethan, it was the first day he realized that humans could see what others refused to notice. And sometimes, that sight alone could change everything. The morning sun of Solarian 4 shone cold and sharp across the city of Valira. Its light glinted off the crystal towers and reflected across the smooth streets, making everything seem clean and perfect. But inside the council halls, the air was tense, heavy with pride and fear. Human Ambassador Ethan Hale stood at the edge of the chamber, carrying his small scanning device. The Velkari Council, a group of stern and proud elders, looked down at him with sharp, angular faces. They did not hide their disapproval. "You dare bring a human to our chamber?" one elder hissed, his voice like wind over glass. "Your interference is not welcome." Ethan bowed slightly. "I mean no disrespect. I have discovered something about young Lyra, something important for her future, and for the future of your species." Another elder, a tall Velkari woman with pale, almost glowing skin, narrowed her eyes. "Explain," she demanded. "And do not waste our time with trivial nonsense. The child is flawed. Everyone sees it. Why should we not dismiss her?" Ethan shook his head. "She is not flawed. She is evolving. Her body is adapting to the radiation patterns on this planet. Those you call weaknesses are actually biological advantages. She is developing a natural shield, something no other Velkari has yet achieved." The council murmured among themselves. Some looked skeptical, others shocked. A few younger members whispered nervously, as if fearing that acknowledging the truth would shatter their understanding of their world. Toran, the boy who had mocked Lyra, stood near the back, smirking. "This is absurd," he said loudly. "The human sees nothing. She is weak. She always was and always will be." Ethan ignored him. He gestured to Lyra, who stood beside him, nervous but proud. "Watch," he said. He activated a small device that projected a faint hologram of her cellular structure. The council leaned in, their eyes narrowing as they studied the intricate glowing patterns. "This is impossible," the pale elder whispered. "No Velkari has ever shown this level of adaptation. It cannot be real." "It is real," Ethan replied firmly. Her cells are forming a protective layer, increasing density and strength. She can withstand radiation that would harm even the strongest Valkyrie. She is not weak. She is the next step. The chamber fell silent. Only the soft hum of the devices filled the air. Then one elder stood abruptly. "You claim she is stronger than us?" he said, voice rising. "We will not allow a human to dictate the value of our children." "This is nonsense." Ethan took a deep breath. "I do not ask you to allow anything. I only ask you to observe, to test, and to understand. If you refuse, you risk ignoring something that could save your species when danger comes. She may be the difference between survival and disaster." The council exchanged worried glances. Finally, a younger member, curious and open-minded, spoke. "Let her demonstrate it. If this human is telling the truth, we should see it with our own eyes." Lyra nodded slowly. Her heart pounded, but her determination burned brighter than fear. "I will show them," she said quietly. Ethan led her to a testing area outside the city, near the edge of the radiation belts. The ground was rocky, with jagged formations jutting out. The belts themselves shimmered in the distance, bands of energy twisting and crackling across the sky. It was dangerous territory, even for Valkyrie. Lyra took a deep breath. "I have never been out here alone," she said. "I am scared," Ethan smiled gently. "That is natural. But remember what I told you. You are stronger than they think." "Stronger than you think? Trust yourself." She nodded, gripping the small control device Ethan had given her. The moment she stepped into the open, her body reacted. Her skin began to glow faintly, lines of energy running across her form. The hum of the radiation belts intensified, but she did not falter. Ethan watched, amazed. Her body absorbed the energy around her, filtering it, storing it, and using it to strengthen her cells. The glow spread, covering her completely in a soft, golden light. She moved through the rocky terrain easily, her steps precise and sure, as though the radiation itself could not harm her. From a distance, Torin and a few other students had followed, sneaking into the area. They gasped as they saw her body shimmer and pulse with power. The boy's smug expression vanished, replaced with fear and confusion. How is this possible?" he muttered. Lyra did not answer. She continued moving, her confidence growing with every step. Her body, which had been ridiculed and mocked, was now a shield. She could feel it, sense it, and harness it. It was beautiful, terrifying, and powerful. Ethan spoke into the translator, which broadcasted her body's data to the Valkyrie Council. "Observe. She is not weak. She is not broken. She is evolving, and this evolution could protect you all." Back in the council chamber, the elders were silent. Some clenched their fists, struggling with pride and disbelief. Others leaned forward, eyes wide, absorbing the truth. The younger member whispered, She may be the future we did not see coming." Meanwhile, Torin backed away, shaking his head. "This cannot be. A weak girl. Stronger than all of us?" His voice trembled. "It's impossible." Lyra turned her glowing form toward him. "It is not impossible," she said calmly. "It is real, and it will protect those who cannot protect themselves." Ethan stepped closer to her. "You see what they cannot," he said softly. "And one day they will understand. But for now, remember, your strength is yours. Do not let them take it from you with their fear or pride." The field test continued for hours. Lyra moved through obstacles, absorbing radiation, demonstrating endurance far beyond any normal Valkyrie child. Ethan recorded everything, making careful notes and observations. He knew the evidence would be needed if the council tried to dismiss her again. As night fell, the storm of energy from the radiation belts increased. Lightning-like arcs streaked across the sky. The other students, still hidden, trembled at the sight. Torin's face went pale, and he realized that the girl he had mocked for her size was now the only one capable of withstanding the storm. Ethan spoke quietly into her ear. "You have done well. Now let's return before they notice how dangerous this could be." But Lyra shook her head. I want to try one more thing." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" She stepped closer to the belts, her body glowing brighter than before. "I want them to see the truth," she said. "I want to show everyone that fear and mockery are nothing compared to strength." Ethan hesitated, then nodded. "Be careful," he warned. "Your strength is incredible, but so is the danger here." Lyra raised her hands, letting the energy flow around her. The ground beneath her vibrated, rocks levitating slightly as her body absorbed and redirected the radiation. The storm seemed to pause as if recognizing her power. The hidden students gasped in awe, unable to believe what they were seeing. Toran fell to his knees, shielding his eyes. I was wrong, he whispered. She is not weak. Lyra turned to him, her expression calm but firm. It is not about being right or wrong, she said. It is about surviving, about protecting those who cannot protect themselves. That is strength. Ethan watched silently, proud. This was more than survival. This was proof. Proof that humans could see what others refused to see, and that courage could appear in the most unexpected forms. When the test ended, Lyra and Ethan returned to the city quietly. The other students scattered, whispering among themselves, unsure what they had just witnessed. Toran did not speak. He avoided her gaze, his pride shattered, but his fear now replaced with respect. Back in the council chamber, Ethan presented the data. The elders could no longer deny the truth. Lyra's body had absorbed energy that would have harmed any normal Velkari. Her cells had adapted, shielding her from harm, and creating a model for potential survival in future generations. One elder finally spoke, voice trembling. This changes everything. Perhaps we have judged her too harshly. Perhaps we were blind, Ethan nodded. It is not too late to learn, to understand, to embrace what is possible rather than fearing it. Lyra stood beside him, her head held high. The girl who had been mocked for her size, the girl called weak and unfit, now glowed with strength, courage, and the promise of the future. That night, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the crystal city, Lyra realized something important. The mockery, the fear, the pain, all of it had prepared her. And with humans like Ethan seeing what no one else did, she could step into a world where her difference was not shame, but power. For the first time, she truly believed she could survive and thrive on Solarian 4. The sky above Solarian 4 darkened as if the twin suns themselves had been swallowed. The wind whipped across the crystal towers of Valira, carrying with it the faint hum of energy that grew louder by the minute. The radiation belts, normally distant and harmless, had surged unpredictably, sending arcs of electricity and light across the horizon. It was a warning few could ignore. Inside the city, panic spread quickly. Citizens scrambled to safety while council members argued over what actions to take. Technology strained against the surge. Power grids flickered and communication channels buzzed with interference. Even the strongest Velkari struggled to cope with the harsh radiation. Their thin bodies shivered and faltered. Amidst the chaos, one figure moved steadily, glowing softly against the darkened landscape. It was Lyra, her body shimmering with the golden light of her evolving cells. Where others faltered, she walked with purpose. The glow around her expanded subtly as she absorbed the intense radiation, her biological shield holding firm. Beside her, Ethan Hale guided rescue drones and assisted citizens who had stumbled. His calm presence and strategic mind ensured that no one was left behind. He glanced at Lyra, awestruck by the power she now displayed. She had gone beyond mere adaptation. She had become a living protector. Toran, the boy who had mocked her, now stumbled across the cracked pavement, fear evident in every step. Lyra, I cannot do this, he stammered. He fell to his knees, shielding his face from the energy arcs that sizzled through the air. Lyra turned to him, her expression serene but firm. It is not your strength that matters right now, she said, her voice carrying over the roaring storm. It is your courage. Step behind me. I will protect you. Hesitant, Toran obeyed, feeling a warmth radiate from her as her shield enveloped them both. Around them, more Velkari and humans followed, drawn to her light and reassured by the strength she radiated. For the first time, they saw what courage and evolution together could achieve. Ethan moved to coordinate the evacuation. We must lead them to the safety zones, he said. Lyra, can you guide them? Lyra nodded. Her glow pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat, a soft hum of energy that seemed to resonate with the planet itself. She walked ahead, moving through the danger effortlessly, her body absorbing and redirecting the radiation that would have injured others. Rocks levitated slightly under the force of her field, and electrical arcs bent around her as if the storm recognized her power. The council watched from a distance, their faces pale with shock. The same elders who had dismissed her earlier now realized the truth. She was not just a child, they had underestimated her. She was the protector, the solution they had ignored. The younger member of the council whispered to the others, We were blind. She is saving us." Hours passed and the storm raged on. Every corner of the city felt the strain, but Lyra continued without pause. She moved to the most damaged areas, shielding the injured, absorbing lethal radiation, and guiding them toward safe zones. Her golden glow became a beacon of hope in a world that had been swallowed by fear. At one point, a group of children became trapped near a crumbling building. Ethan rushed to assess the situation, but Lyra was already there. Her light intensified as she formed a protective dome around the children. The building groaned and cracked, but no harm came to them. Lyra's shield absorbed the energy that would have torn the structure apart, holding the roof just enough to allow the children to escape safely. The sight silenced Toran completely. He stared at her, realization dawning. The girl he had mocked, the one he had laughed at, was now the strongest being he had ever seen. His pride had crumbled, replaced with humility and awe. When the storm finally began to recede, the city was scarred but alive. The people, human and Velkhari alike, emerged from their shelters slowly, blinking against the brightening sky. They looked to Lyra, who stood exhausted but resolute, her glow fading as her body returned to normal. Ethan approached her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You did it," he said quietly. "You saved them all." Lyra nodded, though a small shiver ran through her. I just did what I could," she whispered. Her eyes scanned the crowd, and she saw the council members staring at her, silent and humbled. Even Toran stood nearby, his head bowed in respect. One elder stepped forward, his voice trembling. "Lyra, you were right. We judged you wrongly. Your strength, your courage. It has saved us all. We owe you our lives." Lyra looked at him, her expression softening. "I only did what I had to. Strength is not for pride. It is for protection." Ethan smiled. "And that is why humans can see what others ignore. We notice courage where others see weakness. That is the lesson here." The council bowed their heads, finally acknowledging their mistake. For centuries, they had valued symmetry, thinness, and conformity. Now they understood that true strength could take a different form, one that could endure even the harshest trials. Later, in the council archives, Lyra's actions were recorded and celebrated. Her glow, her shield, and her courage became a symbol of hope for future generations. Children who had once been mocked or underestimated were now encouraged to explore their own unique strengths. The phrase, "see what others do not see," became a guiding principle, reminding everyone that courage and adaptation could come in unexpected forms. Toran approached her quietly, no trace of mockery remaining. I was wrong," he admitted. "I judged you for appearances, and I see now. You are stronger than any of us thought." Lyra smiled, a small but genuine curve of her lips. "It is not about who is stronger. It is about protecting each other. That is what matters." In the days that followed, Ethan returned to his duties as ambassador, but he often visited Lyra. Together they continued to study her evolution, documenting her abilities and helping the Velkhari understand that change and adaptation were not threats. They were opportunities. Lyra's father, once proud and cold, approached her one morning. His eyes were full of emotion. "I was blind, my daughter," he admitted. "I feared what I did not understand, but you have shown me what courage truly is." Lyra nodded, feeling a warmth she had never known from him before. "I only want to help," she said. "Help our people, help everyone survive." Her father placed a hand on her shoulder, finally seeing the strength that had always been there. "Then you will have my support. Always." Years later, Lyra became a leader among the Velkhari, guiding her people alongside humans. She helped establish programs for education, survival, and exploration, teaching both species that differences were not weaknesses, but opportunities. The boy who mocked her became her assistant, learning humility and compassion under her guidance. Ethan continued to watch with pride as Lyra's influence grew. She had begun as a child mocked for her appearance, and now she stood as a symbol of hope, courage, and the hidden strength that humans had always noticed in the most unexpected places. And every time a new generation of Velkhari students laughed at someone different, teachers would whisper Lyra's name. They would remind the children that true strength was not in appearances, but in courage, adaptation, and the ability to see what others could not. The archives of the Dominion recorded a single line beneath her portrait, shining like a beacon for all who read it. Humans see what others refuse to see. That is why they always survive. Lyra's journey, which had begun with mockery and fear, had ended in triumph and respect. She had not only saved her city and her species, but had also changed the way her people understood courage, strength, and hope. Ethan smiled quietly as he watched her one last time before leaving Solarian 4. The girl he had seen, the one no one else noticed, had become more than a survivor. She had become a leader, a protector, and a symbol of humanity's greatest strength, the ability to see potential where others see weakness. And in that light, the city of Valira, once filled with judgment and mockery, now thrived in understanding, hope, and the promise of a brighter future.